Hi, this is CCIE Marathon once again. For this particular video, I'll be showing you a couple of steps which I have taken in order to install PYATS, set up a testbeds, and how I actually use the Parse module in order to connect to my device. Mainly, as mentioned, I'll be using my own lab device which is set up in IDE. So this will be the items which we'll be tackling on this particular video. Okay, just to kickstart, again, this is my lab device. I have a DevOps machine here that is running in Ubuntu. This is my HQ1 router. So I'll be connecting to this router using PYATS. Okay, so from here, there are several steps that needs to be done as stated on the PYATS website. So I'll just be following those steps as well. So look at from my directory, right? I don't have any PYATS folder, so I just create that folder, PYATS, make directory PYATS. So change that. The next step mainly is to create a virtual environment. So I'll be using Python 3 for this particular machine. I have a Python 3 installed. So virtual environment, then PYATS _ virtual environment. This is my virtual environment name. So yeah, it should be installed, and if you look at that, we have our PYATS virtual environments. So next mainly is now to activate this virtual environment using this command, source PYATS bin activate. So that means whatever modules that I'll be installing for this particular virtual environment will be only located on this PYATS virtual environment. In this case, I'll be installing PYATS. So let's just use pip3 to install PYATS. So that is full. Yep. This might take a while, yeah, but if you look at this is the device which I'll be using to connect to, and it has this IP address which is 192.168.0.62. Alright, there are a couple of errors in here. Let's see. Not sure if any others who installed PYATS whether they encounter this error, but I think it might require any additional modules in order to get rid of this error. Alright, I did a bit of research on this one, and I think we can just try to install Jinja 2 in order to get rid of this error. So let's try to install Jinja 2. 2 equal, what version are we installing? So I'll be using version 2.11.3. Sorry, that should be equals. Yeah, then let's try to install PYATS one more time. Alright, so it looks like the errors which we have encountered a while ago during the installation of PYATS is no longer occurring. So yeah, so we already completed installation of PYATS. We can actually check PYATS the version using this command, PYATS version check, and we should be able to see all the packages, and it's using version 21.12. Cool. So I think we have PYATS installed, the next thing is to create the testbeds. So I got my testbeds in here, which is yeah, I haven't created a folder for my testbed. cd pyts l. All right. L. Okay, so I'm gonna create a directory for my testbeds, and go to the testbeds and create a YAML file for my HQ1 testbed. So testbeds are usually in the form of YAML file, and I can actually use. Okay, so if you look at this, right, this is my VSCode. Sorry, this is my VSCode IDE that is used to connect and manage my script on the server, and it gives me a bit of it's easier to manage as compared to just connecting via CLI to the server, right? And yeah, if I go to this testbed, I have this HQ1. Okay, I prepared the testbed a while ago. Should have the testbed name, which is HQ1, the devices where we're gonna connect to, and that's HQ1 device. This is the IP. It's using this protocol and some arguments, and this is the credentials. I think these credentials, I can actually take this out and just leave it to the device level, and it's gonna save this. So we got the testbed in place. I think the next thing is to actually set up the credentials from this machine, right? So I'm gonna export it using this export command, and export. I'm gonna export my password, which is already configured on my router, which is admin, and I'm gonna export as well the username, which is also admin. All right, so I think the next thing now is to test the connections to the device using the parse command, pyATS parse. Just use the show version command, and we got testbed. So we're gonna access the testbed file called hq1.yaml, and we're gonna output. We're gonna get the output and store that to the output folder, and we're gonna name that particular file as show version, and you can try to run it. And if you can see, we're getting a successful connection to HQ1, and from the output folder it also creates two files, which is the console.txt file, which is just the regular output of show version from CLI, and we have the parse version, the form of dictionary. All right, so I think that's pretty much what we have done for today. But just to summarize, for this particular video, I've tackled the installation of PYATS on my dev machine. I created, and actually we encountered some issue with installation, and that is being resolved by installing Jinja 2 as well. And I created a testbed for my HQ1 device, and test the connections. Also, I actually we export that username and password on this device, of the device to this dev machine. I think that's all. Thank you for watching and hope to see you again on my next video.